Hello, everyone. Marianne here with the Sustainable Living Podcast. Today, we are going to bring you an edited recording of a live Facebook session. You will hear that there's some noise in the background. It was Emily and myself on that live session, but she also had her toddler Wyatt at at the house, and you will hear him ever so often, or maybe not him, but some of the devices he turned on. I hope you still enjoy the show. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to say a big thank you for all of you who continued to listen. As you know, we have gone through a lot of changes, and I personally have gone through quite a bit of health challenges. My voice is still not where I want it to be. I'm sure you can hear that. I know you're going to say go to the doctor, and I am. I have an appointment tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you so much for being patient. I'm dropping the show whenever I can. And sometimes that's not on a very regular basis. So thank you for your understanding. Really appreciate that. In today's show, we have been talking about farmers market, local farmers market in particular, but also I'm asking you for tips and ideas how we as a citizen can promote an event like that in our town just because we want it to be there. We feel that it's important to be there. The powers to be, or however you want to call that, are not doing that much. So what can we do? What can we do as individuals to make a change into our own little community, or in our own little community rather? Yeah, that's one of the topics we're talking about. And you know how it is when you're in conversation with someone, you hop and you skip and you get into all kinds of different topics. I hope you enjoy. We love your feedback. Really love your feedback. You can email at sustainablelivingpodcast@gmail.com. We're doing a regular Facebook live session every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and love for you to join. If you want to be on, if you want to be a guest, let us know. And as always, we love you, Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. One of the newest one is Feltbus, so FELT.BUZZ. He is an author and a gifted felt artist and also has a Patreon account, so check him out. Back into town, and so one of the things we were possibly going to talk about today is natural cleaning, which I will have to do a lot of cleaning. My son was house sitting, and he was basically sitting the whole time and not doing anything. So like after I came back, I was quite energized. I think I had a lot of coffee on the road. It basically took me like 12 hours to get here. So I was doing a bunch of cleaning. And then yesterday it just was like, oh my gosh, how is the next day? You just don't have that much energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
But
know how that goes.
but yesterday was Lemon Grove Farmers Market, and it's
Oh,
a super
fun.
small market. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. But I
Yeah.
met Pia. So Pia was back here from Michigan, and
Oh.
she is the one who does the sustainable travel tips.
Oh,
So
yes,
we
yes.
actually, so we actually had a chance to meet, and we met at the farmers market, and I wanted to buy her some like frozen treat I had last time I was there, and the vendor was not there.
Oh,
So
no.
I know. And I think that's one of the things. It's a very small market, and Lemon Grove is kind of a small town. And I don't think they're doing any outreach, they're doing any
Oh,
advertisement,
yep.
because, yeah. So I did a live video while I was there, but I just kind of wanted to throw it out there and say, hey, so maybe some of you guys
listening to us have some ideas how to get a market moving forward so people know about it and can come. So Emily, what are your ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I find all the farmers markets just on Facebook or Instagram. For me, when I go to a farmers market, I don't know what to expect. So I think the more information, the better, especially knowing like, okay, what kind of produce is going to be there, what kind of, crafts and things. So having a list of exactly what people sell has been really helpful for me. And I haven't found that very much. And so I get a little frustrated because I go there and I spend my whole time trying to figure out what I can and cannot eat, whether they use chemicals or not. So it'd be really neat to have a lot more information on, the city website.
Oh, like the city website. So yeah, so we should approach the city and say, hey, put it up there. One of the things I found the planners did, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. There is another community close by, like right next door. So Lemon Grove, where I live, has like 25 or 26,000 people living there. And it's a very small area. The next town is La Mesa, and it's like literally 5 minutes to get there. And La Mesa has it's a bigger community. It's about 100,000. It has an established farmers market on Friday afternoon. So to me, choosing Thursday as a day to have one right next door seems very weird. I'm thinking Tuesday would be good, so people can
spread it
shop
out
for fresh things on Friday and then come across. So I don't know if it's just me being like hypercritical, but it was like, really Thursday? And it makes it harder for us, the local farmers who want to go to both.
Right.
If I know one of the smaller urban farmers, he now only goes on Friday because his farm doesn't produce so much right now. And he can sell everything he produces on Friday in one pop. But he might have stuff ready on Tuesday to do a smaller Lemon Grove market. I'm saying a lot. So
well, and for us too, the weekend farmers markets are the best for us, just with work and family and everything. So I mean, it goes both ways, right? It's like it's hard to say because shopping more often I know has helped us too. So it can go both ways with that. It's hard to pick a day.
Well, weekends in San Diego, I think is not a good
too busy
day to start. And no, there are already some really, really big ones which are well established, and they're kind of destination markets where people go to because there is so much there. And so many vendors and and it's just like, let's have a date and meet friends and go to said farmers markets because they're just so incredible, right?
Right.
Yeah. And they're more in the downtown areas, and farmers only have so much personnel and product to go to so many markets, So to me, starting a new market on a day which is already
really packed.
It's probably not working too well.
No, that makes sense.
So what would you do as a private citizen to keep it moving?
The farmers market?
Yeah.
So when we've been in a lot of new towns lately. When the towns have the sign, when you enter the town, there's a sign that says, farmers market this day, this day, this day. That's been the only way we've really known about it. Just like right when you walk into a town.
So asking the city to put a big sign up and say they have a place where they can put banners and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Toddlers.
Right. I know. I mean, he knows that he has priorities. So I'm trying.
There you go. I fixed it, honey.
I mean, that's how it should be, right? I mean, I haven't had coffee yet. I didn't sleep until late last night. Well, I'm also going through a time change kind of thing because the Navajo Nation is on a different time zone.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
I bet that was an amazing experience.
I met Hopis and we were invited to a ceremony. The village is up on a mesa. People still do very traditional pottery and weaving, and there's actually there's 3 villages up on that mesa, and in one part you can't go as in what they kindly say outsider. You need to You can go with a tour company on a tour, but you can't go by yourself. And
Oh, right, right.
yes, so but so Hopis are doing dry farming as their
Mm.
farming method, and the person we kind of know, I already asked her if I could have an interview with her. And when we went to the ceremony, we couldn't take any pictures or film because,
Oh, right, of
again,
course.
as outsiders, we were literally the only white people there, But the ceremonies are still like honoring creation stories and how, I mean, I didn't understand the word obviously because it's all sung in the Hopi language,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of gesturing, and then there's abundance is kind of being shown by people. There's like different families, and I don't know all the backgrounds. I need to talk to her more about that, what it is, but different families end up on the roof. And so you have to picture this little square of houses. For us, it would seem like very little, but it was quite a few houses. And there's like benches, like adobe benches all along the outside of that square. And it's a sandy floor. And that's where the ceremony took place. So everybody is sitting around, and then all these men in a formation are coming in and they're chanting. And there's two women dancers and like I don't know what the word for them is from like the language.
Yeah,
I know I would maybe think a shaman,
yeah.
who was like the leader, and he was doing all the hand movements, depicting the sun and the rain and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then when that part is over, everybody gets in the middle of the square, and there is somebody up on the roof, and they just throw tons of things down. And if you catch it, it's yours.
Ah!
So it was like quite an experience. Very cool. And what was interesting is that things like toilet paper were thrown, and sponges and dish liquid and all kinds of stuff. And it struck me a little bit, there was a lot of plastics there. So that was very
Right.
interesting and a little bit disturbing to me.
Yeah.
But we were originally going to talk about cleaning. So there were cleaning products thrown. What would you throw as a cleaning product?
Yeah, I just came into the tiny house bathroom here to do a quick demo of laundry. I've been kind of perfecting this. So this is our combo washer dryer, but any washer would apply. Basically, all we use here is a little hydrogen peroxide, and that's non-toxic. It's plant safe. I double checked a couple weeks ago, but yeah, it's completely safe. So I use the hydrogen peroxide when if it's kind of like, muddy or dirty, or like, we went swimming and there's some icky chlorine or something on it. So I just like pour about a fourth a cup in the regular detergent. And then the softener is just regular white vinegar from Costco. I have not been able to find organic white vinegar. I don't know that it even exists.
It exists. It's very expensive, and it's not
Okay.
clear white like what you get at. Oh my God, my chickens are out.
Uh-oh.
That's a whole nother story I have to tell all of you. Yeah, I found it with Azure Standard, which is a co-op.
Okay.
It's operating out of Oregon,
Yeah.
and they have drops all over the place. And
Okay.
I really like the way the co-op works, because instead of the drop person, which I have been one in the past and had to
Yep.
do this, I used to have to coordinate the order, bring it in, make sure I get the money from everyone, and then if
Right.
anything needed to be, and then when the order came, it needed to be divided up and so forth. And with Azure, you have a drop manager, but everybody has an account with them and does the order online. And then your
Oh,
stuff comes
nice.
in, yeah, and you pay directly. So there's a drop manager doesn't have to do any money. And then when the drop comes, it's labeled with your name on it. And then you get an
Wow.
email with your receipt, and it tells you you have, let's say, 7 items. Because if you can order things like one toothbrush, right? So if you order smaller stuff, they put it all into a box, and then
Oh, right, right.
said box has your name on it. So the drops are super fast. It tells you, okay, your drop is at 5 o'clock, and the idea is that everyone is there, helps to unload the truck, and then you count, make sure all the articles came, and everybody puts the stuff in their vehicle and off you go. So it's really
Oh, nice.
fantastic. Yeah, I
I'll
love
have
it.
to look in to see if our local food, well, we don't have cooperatives here, but I can see if the natural food store has
Oh,
organic vinegar
I
at least.
yeah, but I think you have drops in Colorado for sure because they go as far as Tennessee. So I'm sure they're coming to Denver, and you just have to go online
Yeah, and check
and
them out.
then yeah, and you join a drop, and the drops are basically at somebody's house where a truck can go.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and then it just tells you, okay, Tuesday, 10 a.m. That's when your drop is, and you go in and you get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, we'll post the link in the comments for everyone.
yeah, for sure. What type of detergent do you use?
So it's just the hydrogen peroxide in the detergent area, and then white vinegar for the softener. And then all you
Okay.
do is we get this Epsom salt. This is the cleanest brand we could find. There's no such thing as like, at least I haven't ever found organic Epsom salt, but this is like the highest, most natural one we could find.
Think there is stuff added to it?
Just the way, from what I researched, it was the way that they process it. It's really hard to find good information on Epsom salt, but there are different qualities, kind of like eggs. There's like, there's like grade, whatever, like therapeutic grade, or so there's different
Yeah.
grades of it. So this was the highest grade I could find. So yeah, I just put 5 tablespoons, or it's about 1/4 a cup of Epsom salt in the actual drum. And then I just get some organic tea tree oil or peppermint works because it's not antibacterial. So I just put about 10 drops on top of the Epsom salt. You can pre-mix it. I'm pretty lazy and I just throw it on top. But that's it. So that's all you do for the detergent. And you don't even have to use the hydrogen peroxide or the white vinegar. I just do that because we're in mud a lot. We're always in a lake, or we're
Right.
pretty dirty. But you really, just the Epsom salt and tea tree alone is enough. And we've saved so much money on cleaning supplies. So that's really helped. I mean, the essential oil actually lasts quite a bit, and you get a lot more bang for your buck when you get the bigger ones. So it's, all plant safe. Epsom salt is actually good for the soil. So
Right.
that,
The only thing I think vinegar you would have to be careful with.
yeah, you wouldn't
So,
want vinegar on any plants or anything.
yeah.
Yep.
So if you have your laundry water go directly to your plants,
Yep,
and
skip the
then you would
vinegar.
also skip the vinegar, and if it all goes to the same area, you might have to be careful with the Epsom salt
Yep.
too.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I
really
mean,
condensed.
Epsom salt is actually good, but too much of it would be too
Right.
much.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people in tiny houses catch their gray water first and then disperse it, or they just they move it around in the grass. Or
Right.
actually, when we're in a permanent spot, we had a French drain, so
Yeah.
that worked
Well,
too.
I mean, moving it around in the grass just to be like, I don't know, official. I want to say, in California, at least, the gray water law is that you cannot disperse it on the surface.
Right.
Because
that's where the French drain comes in. Yeah.
Right.
And then the only other thing we use is Dr. Bronner's. We prefer the tea tree. I know there's any Castile soap. There's so many amazing organic soaps out there. This is just a nice big, and we like it because you add water to it, so it's condensed, so you're getting actually more. That's what we use for dishes, hands, body, everything. So it's kind of like all in one. And then for lotion, all we use is organic coconut oil. So that's lotion. It also makes a great toothpaste. You can just add baking soda to it, or turmeric, or activated charcoal, and that makes a really good toothpaste. And then, of course, for any deep cleaning, we just use baking soda as a scrubbing agent, and that's it. I mean, white vinegar and hydrogen peroxide for the counters, Dr. Bronner's for the dishes, and for the dishwasher, it's the exact same thing. It's just the Epsom salt and the tea tree, and that's it. If you want, you can clean it out, your dishwasher, with hydrogen peroxide or vinegar in between every couple washes. So we just use those few products, and that gets us through the whole day. And it's helped us save a lot of money, and you don't have to, buy a bunch of different products, because the green product movement is amazing, but man, it's pricey.
It's pricey, and you still have a lot more packaging if you buy, smaller products like pre-formulated. I'm like
Yeah.
you, I get like a huge thing of baking soda
Yep.
and a big gallon of vinegar. And so usually I use the baking soda and vinegar mostly for my toilet because
Yep.
most of my other water is gray water
Mm-hmm.
directed. And the hydrogen peroxide, I actually get the food grade in a
Oh,
high concentration because I use it to wash my vegetables and stuff. And I
yeah.
started it when we were doing the Gerson therapy because you had to watch everything in hydroperoxide water
Mm.
before choosing or using it, just so you wouldn't have any kind of pathogens you don't want to have. I don't remember the price point, but if I'm not mistaken, again, don't quote me, but I think it was $35 for a gallon, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Then I saved it's what is it, a pint? It's the hydrogen peroxide bottles you usually
Yep.
can buy. So I saved those, and I think I used 2 tablespoons of the concentrate, and then fill
Mm-hmm.
the rest up with filtered water.
Yeah, you don't need
And
much.
and then use that to add a little bit to my washing water and stuff like that. So that really lasts forever and it works really well. And then I use essential oils straight
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like to clean the tub, or
Yeah.
not straight. I put some on my cloth, few drops to clean the tub and the sinks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I do, if you have citrus in your diet, you can put the peels into vinegar and
Yes.
infuse it for like a couple of weeks or longer. For me, it's usually longer because I don't get around to straining it. And it really makes a nice smelling vinegar solution
Mm-hmm.
and makes it stronger. And I use the peel straight, like lemon,
Yep.
like if I have a lemon tree. So it's different if you pay $1 for each lemon. I wouldn't use them for cleaning my sink. But if you have an abundance coming from your yard, I
Yes.
might put half the juice into my salad, and then I have half a lemon left over, and I just use the lemon by itself.
Those are really great ideas, and I'll have to look and find that concentrate because that's really been. And the other thing too, I always tell people is like don't underestimate baking soda because people always get these really toxic scrubbing bubbles or those icky little gel balls, and baking
Oh,
soda
I
will take
know.
anything off anything. You just have
Yeah,
to, add a little water and scrub away. And I also,
yeah.
sponges are really interesting too because I did a bunch of research and sponges are so incredibly dirty. You're actually just,
Yep.
because the bacteria just stays on them. So I know there's a lot of, I personally don't support Norwex. There are green versions of Norwex. Norwex uses nanoparticles and
What?
they're not, oh, go ahead.
Explain what Norwex is because I'm not
It's just
familiar
one of
with
those
Norwex.
multi-level marketing companies, and
Oh,
I support several of those, but Norwex is not upfront with their ingredients on any of their products. They don't share any of their information. So there are green versions of those like or not nano, sorry, non-nanoparticle cleaning cloths. So I would ask people to skip the sponges because it just holds that bacteria, and it's actually, they say it's even dirtier than your toilet. So you're just,
right. Well, I actually use sponges, but I have one, it's a natural sponge.
yep,
And then the
exactly.
scrubbing surface is made from coconut fiber.
Yep.
And you can put it in a pot and you can boil it, right? If you buy
Yes.
the brand names or whatever you get in the supermarket, they're made out of, I
Yeah,
think
synthetic
it's,
something.
you definitely can't boil them or
Yes.
clean them. Between uses, I make sure that it gets completely dried out because I
Hmm.
think that's one thing with sponges, that if they stay moist, the
Yes.
bacteria just grows and grows and grows. And we do
Yeah.
have a Amazon affiliate link. So if you're an Amazon shopper, like I got the hydrogen peroxide through Amazon. So if you click on our link, then we get a little percentage and it helps us keep the podcast going. So yeah, here,
Yeah.
haha, sales bill, yes.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. So the sponges I also got from Azure, which we are not affiliate with. We just like them, or I just like them. They really saved me when we were doing Gerson therapy and just needed so much stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, it was a real lifesaver. When I do my own chicken food mix, I would get most of my grains from
Yep.
them.
I would love that link.
So what else?
That sounds great.
Yeah, I definitely put it in, and they go almost everywhere, and where they don't go, they ship, but then you have shipping costs. But that said, just having been kind of out in the middle of nowhere, there are definitely places where it's very hard to access a lot of those things. You being in Denver and me being in San Diego, so it's a big metropolitan areas where pretty much everything is available. So
Right.
if you're out in the boonies, shipping costs might be worth it to be able to get this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something I haven't really researched. That's definitely an advantage of living in a more populated area. Things are just more available and easier.
That would be an interesting podcast. I'll have to find somebody to discuss food deserts, because I mentioned it a little bit in my book about, there is such a discrepancy between, rural versus city. And I've experienced it. I mean, when we travel and we get stuck and we're out of food and we just didn't prepare correctly, we go, you Google map and you say, oh, organic food. And then you go into these small town grocery stores and it says on their website they have organic food, and you get in there and there's not one thing you can eat. It's like,
yeah,
it's crazy. And even I have a friend who lives in middle of nowhere, North Dakota. And, I'm telling her all these great things to buy. And she's like, I can't get these. And the shipping is insane. And they didn't have Amazon. And so it's, as much as I know a lot of people in the community do not like Amazon, I have to say, like, it has saved us as far as organic and natural holistic, items. It's really saved us. But so it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, Amazon, the guy who founded it, is the richest person in the world right now. So we all helped him to get there.
Right.
And, the sad thing is, from what I understand, is that the employment culture at Amazon is not the greatest.
Right.
It's really high pressure and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they were one of the first companies which had a lot of affiliate programs, where a lot of people were able to make a little bit money for themselves or for a charity. So I mean, everything has like two different sides from it, So for me, if I can get it local, I will get it local.
Of course.
And that's number one, like circling right back to farmers market, if I can support the local farmer, that's number one. If I can somehow produce it myself, even better. Even so, I'm at a place right now where I'm like, having my own garden is a lot of work. And I was gone for 2 weeks and my son did not water certain areas, or maybe many areas. And a few things, well, and get this, it didn't feed the chickens. So I have like I have to make a blog post that has been on my mind. I put some contraptions in that I have minerals and kelp from to free feed from it. And he thought that was their food. And so he didn't give them any food, and they all survived.
No.
Yeah, meaning that, I have been doing a lot of like deep composting in the area, or deep mulching rather. And I have a compost pile in the chicken area. And I think they also, half of them got out and just foraged over the yard. But I also, before I left, a couple of times I did watering of different areas in the chicken compound, so to encourage like bugs to go there, because if it's really dry, you don't have bugs, right? But if you do a bunch of water, so all of that was enough for them to survive for 2 weeks. And I gave them extra yesterday, and they didn't even eat it all, meaning they're
so
really
not
good
like starving.
foragers.
Yeah.
No. I mean, they didn't look like they were, I was kind of like, first I was shocked a little bit, right? But then I was, well, something I'm doing must be right. Said they were able to. And he did change the water. So I think without water, that would
Yeah.
be a different story, you know?
Right. Right.
But so it was kind of a permaculture experiment it was
Unintended.
meant to be one, but it worked out pretty good, you know? But coming back to gardening, you know, so I have friends which said they would rather support the local farmers markets than doing
Yeah.
their own garden. But
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. You know,
Right.
plus, you know, I mean, a lot of times the costs are not that cheap. You know, I know people which say, oh, I can't afford to buy at the farmers market, you know,
Yep.
because realistically, if we go and buy anything at a store, we are not really paying what it costs to produce that food.
Right.
And
Right.
and smaller farmers are trying to make a living off that. They don't have government subsidies and stuff like that. So they actually are trying to charge you what it costs to produce the food. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, really, nothing too extravagant can really change until we see the subsidies actually given to the organic farms. Or I know there's some grants out there and things, and I've worked on several organic farms, and it's, you know, you're breaking even at best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, land is expensive, water is expensive, labor is expensive. And it's this whole thing how everybody screams and hollers about immigrants and especially I'm here in San
Yeah.
Diego where, you know, we're right next to the border. So everybody knows somebody who is an illegal immigrant, right? And when I had my Boda store, you know, I had people like, oh, you know, this, and this. And I was like, are you willing to pay $10 for that basket of strawberries? Because,
Right.
and this is really sad. And I don't endorse this at all. I just want to make really sure about that. But
Yeah.
illegal immigrants usually don't get paid much. And there are a lot of employers which actually cheat them out of their wages.
Yep.
And that kind of behavior so is reflected in the food cost because that's
Yep.
how they can sell stuff cheap. Now, I want to be really clear. I feel people should get paid fairly for their labor and nobody should get cheated out of their money. And I'm actually very much in favor of having programs that people can come and work legally here. Because reality is, if I would have to go into the field and pick strawberries and get paid by how many baskets I pick, I'm not going to make enough money to buy my own food, you know?
Right. Right.
There is just certain labor which is so hard that most people don't want to do that, you know? And
Well, yeah. It's interesting too because everyone like gets so upset, like, oh, machines are taking over our jobs, and I was like, great, because then I can go like meditate and like work on me, and the machines can take care of all the hard stuff, and everyone can really focus on themselves.
well, you know, that's kind of where the whole idea of basic income comes in. And it's a very controversial idea, and I understand, you know, because on one hand, people which are proponent of basic income, which I am in many ways, because I feel, and I know it from personal experience, if people don't have enough money to cover the basics, if you constantly have to worry about how to pay the next bill, how to
Yeah.
have the next meal on the table, how to pay for your shelter and stuff like that, it's super high stress and you can really not concentrate on anything else.
Right.
It eats on your mental health and it eats on your physical health.
Yep. Which
On
is a
the
strain
other
on the
hand,
society.
it's huge, you know. So all the proponents say everybody should have their basics covered because then you have time and energy to do a lot of amazing things. It could be art, it could be innovation, you know, we figure out how to get to Mars in 2 weeks, you know, whatever,
Right.
you know, like time travel, whatever it is, right? But then there is the other hand, just came back from the Navajo Nation, and just from statistics I've been seeing is that drug use and alcoholism is very high and unemployment is very high. A friend of mine she is half Apache and half Hopi, and she was living on a different reservation, she's studying to be a medicine woman, and she was saying that government checks and bad food are kind of the cause for a lot of the misery, right?
Right.
Meaning people do have X amount of an income, but I don't know if it's given in a way that it creates dependence, or I mean,
Right.
it's a
Right.
huge subject. Yeah. So we should source it out there as a discussion point. You want to and have some last words?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I basically, for those, since we did start with the farmers market and cleaning and all that, like, obviously the best is local and get involved. Like the locals farmer market is a great place to start because you're supporting local. And it doesn't have to be all your food. Just even going, once every month, just start with that. Or even just help them by recommending it to a friend who might have more money than you. So even if you
Right.
can't support them directly, I do a lot of like advertising or, helping other people succeed through the farmers market. So even because right now, we can't afford it ourselves. So we just support them in other ways. So even if you can't go and support them physically, just help them by advertising and getting the word out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah. See you next week, Friday
Sounds
morning.
good. Thanks everyone for
All right.
watching.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.